So, hi Nick, how are you doing today? And welcome to the channel.
Hi, thank you for having me. As you can see, I'm very comfortable and I'm ready to jam and just have a little chatteroo with you.
Okay, fantastic stuff. Right, let's go. So, I have some different sections here. So, the first section is personal experiences and processes. So, how did you first land the role of Leon, and what was the audition process like?
Uh, it's exactly that. It was an audition process. I saw a casting call for the Resident Evil 2 remake. Usually they keep everything very secret and under NDA, but for some reason this casting company just had the name of the project out there, so we knew exactly what we were going up for. And when I saw that, I got very excited. I trained very hard for 2 weeks to prepare for that first audition physically. I trained with actors to work the scenes out that we had to prepare, and I was so intimately familiar with the world, the environment, the relationships, the character. I've been a fan of him for 18 years at the point. 18 years. And I told them that in the audition. And after a callback or two with the director and the producer, they eventually offered me the role, and so here we are.
So, did you feel any pressure stepping into such an iconic character from the Resident Evil franchise?
Oh, definitely. Uh, I mean, as a 18-year fan, I grew up experiencing other actors' performances of this guy and portrayals, and I loved them. You know, we just talked about RE4 original. Paul Mercier is my favorite Leon. His voice in that, he's probably one of the reasons I'm an actor today, and I've told him that in person. I've trained with Paul, and I said when I heard your voice in the video game, I would daydream with my little brother and say, wouldn't it be cool to do this one day and be like voice someone in a game? And I wasn't even an actor at that point, so he like started those sparks for me. Um, and so going back to your question, was there pressure? Yeah, there was a lot of pressure because I got the role, I celebrated, I got excited, and then I'm like, oh geez, I'm gonna have this pressure on me because, like, as a fan, I understand what it's like to fall in love with a character, and now that's gonna be on my shoulders, like for other people. And I just hope that they like my rendition of the guy because everyone has their own version, you know.
And I think that out of all the versions I definitely prefer yours because it was because I'd never actually played the original of RE2 until I played the remake. I was like, oh wow, like this, you know, the character's just amazing and how you brought him to life and stuff. And I thought, and then I played RE4 remake and I was thinking, Nick's done a fantastic job here, without a shadow of a doubt.
Thank you. I'm happy that people like my rendition because there are so many good ones out there, and it's not about one being better than another. It's just they're different. That's all.
Yeah.
They were products of their own generation. Whenever the games were coming out, games have changed. Writing has changed. You know, they've become more grounded. You're a gamer, so you understand. It's like if you grew up, we're about the same age, and if you grew up playing games in the early 90s, it's like if there were voice acting in the 90s, a lot of, like, especially the Japanese games weren't translated or interpreted properly, and so there's a lot of cheesy, campy dialogue. And that's what makes those early games magical in their own right. But they're getting more westernized, and the stories are becoming more real.
Absolutely. It's funny actually when you mention about dialogue and stuff. I mean, I just recently completed Resident Evil Outbreak. My God, the dialogue in that, how they even managed to get away with some of the lines is beyond me.
It's funny, but that's what gives those old games the charm. It's hard to, like, I don't think you could recreate it if you tried. You know?
Absolutely. So what aspects of Leon's personality do you personally relate to the most?
Quite a bit. And the reason is because I mean, fortunately, in the lore of Leon, in the canon, he's a good person at heart. He's a good person. But with my two versions of Leon, I got to inject a lot of my personality into him, and you know, some of the adjectives you could float around would be genuine, honest, altruistic, optimistic for the most part. He gets a little jaded in RE4, but he's still like he wants to save the day. He just wants to do the right thing and help people around him. And I'm not a superhero, and I've never saved the world, but I would, I would die trying. Well, Nick would die trying. So how about that?
Oh, fantastic!
So I do have a lot in common. Fortunately, he's just a character I resonate with.
Oh, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. So we're moving on to the second section now, which is behind the scenes. So, was there a particular scene or line as Leon that was especially challenging or fun to perform?
There were a lot of tough ones.
Mm-hmm.
They were all fun. We'll just say that. Mm-hmm. Some of the more emotional ones, you just want to make sure that you really nail, because you know that when people play the game, it's going to hit them hard as well. Mm-hmm. And I would say a lot of the scenes with Ada in RE2 Remake, we had to play it in such a way that it was mysterious. It was a mm-hmm. complex chemistry between the two, and mm-hmm. you kind of wanted the audience to question what was going to happen with this relationship, mm-hmm. and what are Ada's real intentions, and you can't really play into that. Mm-hmm. So I think those were just fun and challenging scenes to play with, and the director Tom Keegan is brilliant, mm-hmm. and Tom really let us play with that. He helped us through that weird relationship, and it turned out to be kind of heartbreaking. So much so that it kind of split fans right down the middle. It seems I've seen the fandom, the comments for 5-6 years now on a mm-hmm. RE2 Remake, and I think 50% hate Ada because of what she did to Leon, and 50% love her, and maybe ship them. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. But I think that's what we tried to do, is we tried to polarize that relationship, and all those scenes were kind of like that.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I play the game, and we're always talking about it, and my community, they all say, "Oh, Ada, what's she doing? She's just leading the poor guy on."
Yeah, but hey, at the end, she did save his life.
That is very true. Yeah, that is true. Twice. I remember now. So yeah,
she saved his life twice. So it's like, okay, you can hate her, but we wouldn't have Leon in RE4 Remake if it wasn't for her.
That is very true. Cool. So how much creative freedom were you given when portraying Leon?
I was given more in RE4.
Okay.
I think definitely they wanted me to inject my personality into 2. Mm-hmm. They were very precious about that project, obviously. It represented a new generation of Resident Evil games. Mm-hmm. It was a remake of a beloved game. And so I kind of was in a little bit smaller, tighter box for that one, a little bit. Mm-hmm. With RE4 Remake, they wanted me to continue that personality. They wanted me to take that Leon, and fortunately, because RE4 Original is my favorite game, and I was so familiar with everything about it and the tone of it, mm-hmm. the tone of 2 and 4 remakes are so different. Mm-hmm. And so all I had to do was just plug in a filter of, okay, 6 years older or so, jaded, more badass, more cowboy, more sarcastic, and he's mm-hmm. seen the shit before. Mm-hmm. And so they let me loose, and I worked closely with the director, Steve Kniebly. I love him, and even the interpreter, the localization director, Wes Bishop. So mm-hmm. between us three, I feel like we really fleshed out that character with certain dialogue choices with Wes, but also the direction from Steve. And Steve is a visionary director, and him and we speak the same language visually, and mm-hmm. we had ideas. I would be like, Steve, what if we do this? And he'd be like, yeah, and then we could do this. And we had just amazing synergy on set, and Steve has become one of my all-time favorite directors because of it. So I think 4 was it was just a natural segue for me to just slide into that character, and it was a load of fun.
Oh, that's great to hear, because I suppose there's nothing worse than when you go into a project and you're told, no, you can't do this, no, you can't say that, and no, it's not going to work. So
very freeing. Yeah, it was fun.
Excellent stuff. So did you record or perform scenes with other actors in person, or was it mostly solo voice work? Because I know, obviously, when I've seen the mocap and stuff, how. So when you do the mocap, you're moving through the motions, or are you allowed to talk and go through do the action as well, or do the voice lines afterwards, or how does it work?
Mocap is everything.
Oh, okay, perfect.
It's actually called motion capture and performance capture are technically two different things.
Okay.
Motion capture is when they're just recording your body data, not your face and not your voice. But what we do for these games is performance capture, so we record everything. So every time you see a cutscene, that's us doing everything in real time with the actors.
Okay.
But there's quite a bit of in-game dialogue as well. So if you're controlling the character and he says some funny quip or something, that's recorded in the voiceover booth, and that's separate. We don't do those together.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. See, now that's like a school day for me because I never knew that. That's why I thought I'd ask the question. Yeah. Cool. So the next section is fan reaction and legacy. So Resident Evil fans are super passionate. So what's been your favourite fan interaction or moment since becoming Leon?
There's not any one most special moment. I would say at when I do panels and conventions, I do a lot of meet and greets, and I see a lot of these fans, and they tell me stories. In fact, I even get a lot of messages online, and when people say, the best thing for me is that people say playing your games and playing with your character has helped me through some really dark times in my life. Hands down. That is, like, I didn't know that going into this. When I booked the role, I was excited. I was like, great, I get to put Resident Evil on the resume and I get to play one of my favorite characters, but I didn't know that these characters in a lot of games across different IPs, that they really mean something to these, like, a lot of kids and younger generations. And they do get through some hard times, and they attach to these characters. And that means the world to me, that my art has somehow helped a stranger, someone who I will probably never meet in my life outside of conventions. But if someone reached out to me online and they say that they live, in a different country, it's like, hey, that means I could kind of spread my positive energy to parts of the world that I'd never otherwise reach, and that means a lot to me.
Oh, that's great to hear. I mean, I know, like, from personal experience, like when I've come home from work and I'm thinking, do you know what, I've had a really, really rubbish day, especially like working in IT. There are days where it could be just horrible, but I thought I'll come home, I'll play some RE4 Remake, and I'm gonna shoot some zombies because it makes me feel a lot better. And to be fair, I mean, when I chat online with my community about it, it just takes away so much of the pressure, so I can just focus on sort of like escaping reality for a bit, which is quite good.
Yeah.
And
well, and I get that. I understand, because I've been playing video games for 35 years, and at this point in my adult life, so much is happening. Sometimes it's easy to get overwhelmed, and I, to this day, use video games to decompress. So when I need a break, I will play even like a crazy, like, scary action game or something that's like I might die and I have to survive. To me, that's still relaxing, because it's shutting out, like, the pressures of the real world. Sure, I need to find ammo over here, but that's, I can shut that off.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good. I mean, I've been playing video games since I was 6, got introduced at a very young age, and my son, who's 4.5, he's just getting into video games now. And he says to me
that's about the time I started, about 5-6 years old.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to get them started early, because obviously, like we're just saying about, like, the pressures of like the world and stuff, and then when he gets older, he knows that he has that escapism. And I'm hoping when he is much, much older that I will get him into the Resident Evil franchise and tell him how wonderful it is, and he'll have to experience it for himself.
I introduced my little brother when he was 9, so maybe that's a good year.
Oh, bless him. So is there a particular moment or line from the games that fans always bring up to you? So my favourite line is, where's everybody going? Bingo? Because obviously I really was hoping that line would be kept in from the original, and it was, which was great.
That's the number one line requested. Number one. By a landslide. There's nothing that even comes close. Oh. So if they had cut that would have been a big mistake.
Okie dokie. So this is the second from last section. This is fun and light-hearted. So if Leon existed in the real world, what do you think he'd be doing when he's not fighting zombies?
Watching a movie with his dog.
So do you personally have a favourite version of Leon, such as RE2 Remake Rookie Cop, RE4 Season Agent, or another?
A favorite version, I really like him as Resident Evil 4 Leon. just like a young mid-20s gung-ho cowboy. Like that's the cowboy version of Leon I always enjoyed as a kid growing up. He gets quite jaded as he gets older. And I just think he was really fun in 4.
Yeah.
That's definitely my favorite version.
Oh, okay, fantastic. Lovely stuff. And the last question in this section is, would you survive a zombie outbreak in real life? And you have to be honest.
Absolutely. I have so many skills that equate to survival skills. I'm a builder. I'm resilient. Good with materials. And I can make a lot of like makeshift things. And so like if this was a post-apocalyptic world, I've been told this many times that when people get to know me, they find out what I do in my free time. They're like, "Oh, geez, I would want to hang out with you at the end of the world." I'd be like, all right. So I think I would do quite well, and I have a lot of zombie killing experience. So.
Okay, fantastic. And this is the last one. So, future and what's next? Is there a dream project or a role you'd love to do next?
There's always a million. I mean, as a 35-year gamer, like there are countless games, dozens of games that I would want to be in, be a part of, different IPs, collaborate with. I mean, I would want to be involved in a Mega Man somehow. I love Mega Man so much. That was like my first love affair. I started with Mario and like Atari and stuff, but when I played Mega Man, I was obsessed with that. So I think for nostalgic purposes, that I love Castlevania. I would love to do something in Castlevania, and I would also love actually to develop my own indie game. I would love to do a Metroidvania style, like a 2D side-scrolling platformer game. I play those all the time on my Switch, and one day I really want to do that.
Oh, that's so cool. I don't know what it is. I have a love-hate relationship with Metroidvania games, the same as Soulsborne games.
Oh, I love them. I love them. Yeah, one day.
We just got done with Castlevania Nocturne Season 2, and oh my god, that was like amazing. Have you seen that?
Yet, surprisingly, I don't watch a lot of TV. I devote a lot of my free time to video gaming, and so yeah, I'm a little behind on shows.
That's okay, no worries at all. All right, that's lovely. Well, thank you very much, Nick, for taking the time to talk with us on the channel today. I really appreciate it, and we wish you all the best in whatever your next endeavour may be.
Well, thank you, and thank you for your persistence. You know, I get asked to do a lot of these interviews, and in the past years, just for timing, I've had to just politely decline the vast majority of them. So it was very nice to meet you, and I hope that your community likes this.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you very much, Nick.
All right. Thank you so much. You take care, okay?
You too. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.